Welcome back to another video. This is the Retention Lifestyle channel. Guys, semen retention has the ability to heal unhealed trauma. It has the ability to help with emotional healing. And when you practice seed retention, you're retaining your energy internally. You just naturally have a better grip on your emotions and on the trauma that you have faced in your life. Now, what is trauma? Trauma is a severe mental and emotional experience that can profoundly alter a person's life. You've probably been through something that has altered your life in a way that has shaped your entire being, that has shaped your entire personality. And based upon what you went through in your life, you more likely went to masturbation. You watched a lot of porn, right? You decided to become an addict. And you decided to cope with your emotions, cope with your trauma by beating the drum, by watching adult film. And you thought that was going to somehow heal your trauma. You thought it was going to resolve a lot of the issues in your life, and it turned out to make it worse. It turned out to be an addiction that plagued your life. It didn't help you at all. It just made things worse. It made your life a lot worse. You dug yourself in a deeper hole. And now you're trying to scratch your way. You're trying to crawl your way out of that deep hole that you dug yourself in. And with the practice of semen retention, we are able to work through our trauma and restore balance and health to our life as a man. And if you don't practice, here's the thing, if you don't practice seed retention, I'm just going to throw it out there, you will not be able to get out of your trauma. You won't. Instead, you're going to remain stuck in your trauma, and you're going to be unable to fully heal. Because you got to really think about the energy that you are withholding in your body, right? When you practice retention, you're providing yourself an avenue to heal, right? To bring that trauma's underlying cause into relief, and giving yourself an opportunity to work through it. Because when you are consciously masturbating, you are draining yourself, which limits or disables your ability to apply critical thinking, which limits your ability to think clearly and to regulate your emotions as a man. And then you're going to start making irrational decisions and start thinking irrationally because you keep wasting your energy. You see, when you're about to masturbate, or when you are masturbating and you're about to hit that climax, you cannot think straight. You can't think rationally. Because all that's going through your mind is pleasure, lust. That's all that's going through your mind at that moment. Right? And when you're intentionally abstaining yourself from ejaculation, temporarily or permanently, you are allowing yourself to redirect that energy internally in order to improve creativity and gain a greater sense of well-being. And that's what happens. And mental health is a big thing nowadays in our community. There's a big awareness when it comes to mental health. But you have to understand, guys, that there is a healing potential when you practice seed retention, because it has the ability, once again, to heal unhealed trauma. It gives you the ability to help process your traumatic experiences. For me personally, I've been able to do exactly that. I was wondering why, when I was masturbating and watching a lot of porn, wasting my seed, why I could never figure out my trauma, why I couldn't figure out, or why I couldn't even work through my problems. Trauma that happened in my life as a child, I was unable to work through it, to get down to the root of the issue of my life. And I was just in an endless cycle of being depressed, miserable, sad, lonely, anxious, and I could not find a solution. I could not work through my own problems. I was unable to. The minute I started retaining, as gradually as my streak would improve, right? As time progressed, I've all of a sudden gained a grip on my trauma. And I was able to talk to God about it and work through it. And the only way I could work through it was just talking about it, talking to God about it, and being open and doing shadow work. And really analyzing what I went through, why I went through it, and what I learned in the process of what I was going through. And really, that's how the healing starts, when you analyze what you've been through. You know, you're honest about the things that you experienced, and you're able to have a grip on everything that went down in your life. And in the moment of it happening, you just didn't have a grip. You didn't have an explanation of why certain things in your life happened or why it happened. And you were not aware of the lesson being learned in that moment until later in life. You have to really stop and think clearly on why certain things happened in your life. Think about the person you were. Think about how you felt in that moment when it happened. and the lesson you learned and how it shaped you, how it molded you, right? We get into this phase of blaming others. We get into the phase of playing victim, right? Being in victimhood, acting like the whole world is against us. And when we do that, guys, when we do that, we are not in control. We're not in control. But when we start practicing semen retention, we were able to have a better grip on our trauma and address it on how it needs to be addressed without blaming others, without playing victim, and owning up to what happened to you and moving on, making peace with what happened, burying that past. Understand that it made you stronger in the process. It wasn't made to destroy you. And that's exactly what happened with me. I was able to have a better grip on my trauma. And certain things will trigger that trauma. But you will know how to control how you feel in that moment when you do have certain triggers, right? Trigger words, a trigger action, or just a thought. But you have enough maturity and enough awareness to realize that you are in control in how you can feel about what happened in your past. When it comes to your trauma, you're in control how you feel. You choose what you want to feel. You choose the emotion, right? And when you retain that energy, man, you're in control of your emotions and how you get to feel. You're not going to let that experience, that traumatic experience, dictate how you should feel. You're not. I was able to tackle my issues in a meaningful way, right? By consciously withholding ejaculation, I was able to unlock a deeper emotion. I was able to unlock a deeper emotional barrier within myself and control my emotions, right? This can help you, to facilitate a deeper understanding of the underlying cause of your trauma, because you're able to connect to the pain, right? To the pain that it caused without the need to ejaculate. And 9 times out of 10, when most guys feel pain and they're depressed, they run to the porn. They run to ejaculate, and that's the only coping mechanism that they know. But it's not going to help. It's not going to help your case at all, man. It's not. You have the power. You have to understand now that this life force that you're withholding, you now have the power to face your pain head on. Not beating around the bush, not putting it off. You have the power to face your pain right in front of you. And you're able to make peace with your trauma. But if you continue this endless cycle of masturbation and watching porn, you're never going to have a grip on your emotions. You're never going to be able to work through your trauma. You're never going to be able to tackle your issues in a meaningful way. And you're going to play the victim, play the blaming game, and you're not going to take no accountability, because not everything is everybody's fault. It's not that person's fault all the time. The people that hurt you, they will take some blame, but not everything is their fault. Sometimes you got to take accountability with what happened to you. Understand that. It's about taking back your power. And when you're able to use semen retention to heal your unhealed trauma, you are taking back the power. You are literally facing the pain. You are facing that demon in your life that has been plaguing you for years and years, and conquering that demon, slaying that demon that's been inside. So when you withhold, to wrap this up, by withholding ejaculation, guys, you are able to maintain control over your body and energy, allowing you to ground and center yourself in order to better process, the issues and the problems and your trauma that you experienced in your life, and the agitated emotional responses, which often accompany, I can't even say that word right, which often, are linked to the traumatic experiences, and it's better for you to face your pain head on and not run from it. Me practicing seed retention has taught me to not run away from my pain, but instead face it head on. So I know nobody has really made a video explaining this, but let me be the first one to do so. And this is something that I have discovered practicing retention in the past 3.5 years. I've noticed that my depression has faded, completely gone. And I've been able to process my trauma a whole lot better and to work through it. You can't undo what happened to you when you were a child. You can't undo it. The best thing you can do is to work through it. The best thing you can do is to heal yourself, to process what happened and to move forward. But understand it's going to take time. It took me a lot of time to process certain things that happened in my life that I could not make sense of. It took me a lot of time to work through my issues. It really did. But I'm telling you guys, retaining your energy is a big part in you healing your trauma. So with that being said, make sure you guys like the video. Like the video for the algorithm. It doesn't take long. Get those likes up. Get those likes up. All right. Subscribe today for more content. This is the Retention Lifestyle channel. More content is to come. Stay tuned. With that being said, God bless, and I'm out. Peace.